Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Morning Heart Devotion. And to start, we'd like to offer greetings to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. 천징 참부님께 경배. 바로. And to lead us in the family pledge, I'd like to invite up Reverend Milhan Stevens.
가정맹세 1. 자녀국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 장건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 자녀국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 중심, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 자녀국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과皇族권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 자녀국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 자녀국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 자녀국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 자녀국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 자녀국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 자녀국 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천
Looks like Reverend Milhan. Thank you, Reverend Milhan, for leading us through the family pledge. And to open us up in prayer, I'd like to invite up Mr. Hans Moyer. So, Mr. Moyer, if you can please unmute and offer your prayer.
Good morning. Please join me in a prayer. Good morning, our Heavenly Parent. Father, as we close our eyes to pray, we contemplate the darkness and the void within our own hearts, Heavenly Father, and minds. Father, we think about the beginning of your creative process, Heavenly Father. How out of the void and the darkness, the longing of your heart, Father, the creation was brought forth. You are a God who longs for relationship, just as we do, each one of us. And as we contemplate this morning on the inner world, Honey Father, of our hearts, then we also long, Honey Father, to make this day a beautiful relationship with you and with each other and with the beautiful creation that's blooming and dawning, Honey Father, in this spring season. Father, please help us to understand the power within our hearts, Honey Father, and help us to understand the preciousness of your divine principle, the creative principle that has brought about this beautiful universe that we live in. Please help us to understand how to put it into practice, how to live it each day, Heavenly Father, to create the kingdom of God within us, Heavenly Father, but also within our families, Heavenly Father, within our communities, and ultimately within this world. Father, it is your love, Heavenly Father, and the love that we are able to embody that will transform this world, Heavenly Father, that will heal the many problems that we are seeing all around us and even within us, Heavenly Father. Please continue to guide us, Heavenly Father, through these morning devotions and through the fellowship that we enjoy with each other. Yesterday at our Sunday service, a father and a mother shared about their adult children and how those children are the treasure of their lives, the fulfillment of all their hopes and all of their dreams. Father, I realize again that's your heart, that's your hope for each one of us. And that is why we get up every morning and why we do what we do every morning, to create those families, Heavenly Father, and those societies where you can be present. Father, we thank you for the beautiful grace that our mother shared with us at this time in the spring season of the providence, Heavenly Father. And what things are coming to conclusion based on their ministries, and Father, the era after the coming of heaven is manifesting substantially. Father, we are so grateful for all that your parents have done. Father, we want to really embody them in our hearts and model them to the world. We thank you for the incredible, Father, effort you're making to leave a legacy in Champion, the Shojang Providence. And Father, please guide us this day through our elder brother, Yong, as he guides us to understand the potential that is in each one of us, just waiting to be revealed and unleashed. Thank you for this day. We ask for your guidance on all things and pray all these things in my name, Hans Moyer, together with Felicitas Moyer, the Moyer family, blessed and central family. Aju.
Aju. Thank you so much, Mr. Moyer, for your heartfelt prayer to open us up and start us off. Really appreciate it. And with that, brothers and sisters, we'd like to take this time to go into our breakouts to be able to share any gratitude and appreciation with one another. And so if you're prompted to join a breakout, please click join. And if you're unable to at this time, please write down your gratitude points. So let us go into our breakouts. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I hope you had a wonderful time sharing your gratitude and appreciation with one another. And to share with the whole community first, I'd like to invite up Dr. Michael Kiley. So Dr. Kiley, if you can please unmute and share.
Well, I'm jealous of your cherry trees, Yasu. You tell me that over half of the trees in bloom are cherry trees. That's great. I'm pretty sure we don't have cherry trees, but I'm not sure what they are. I'm really grateful for Dr. Yong's amazing effort before he went to Korea to record, 12? Anyway, lots of morning devotion. He's really a missionary's missionary, and I value that. Having been a missionary, I know a little bit about the challenges the missionary faces, and we only got kicked out once from a country. He's been kicked out 6 or 7 times, I think, and that heart, identify with that so deeply. He really desperately cares about heaven and desperately cares about true parents, true mother. That's a real blessing. So I'm grateful for that. I think it's a blessing for America to have such a leader here right now. So thank you, heaven, for sending Dr. Yong, and for Yasu. Thank you, Yasu.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kiley. Yeah, thank you for really sharing your love and respect towards Dr. Yong. And I also heard that you will be going to Korea, so I'll see you then to see the opening of Cheonwon. Thank you. And to share next, I'd like to call on Mrs. Caroline Uyama. Mrs. Uyama, if you can please unmute and share.
Hey, I wasn't in your breakout room. Okay, so my appreciation. I actually met an old friend in my breakout room today, Mary Helen. And when I saw her, I just felt so much joy and happiness inside, because in a normal situation we don't meet that often. So to me, that's always my appreciation, I think, is when I meet people that I really have a connection of heart with, in morning devotion. So I'm really grateful for that. And also getting to know different people. There was another sister that I don't know from before, is Deborah Scott, was in my breakout room. And just getting to know Deborah a little bit and just hearing her path in life is just really very precious. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mrs. Uyama, for sharing. And although it was on the spot, I really appreciate it that you're able to share, and really beautifully about just how important and incredible it is about friendship, and that we can go beyond that as brothers and sisters. So thank you so much for that beautiful sharing, Mrs. Uyama. All right, and brothers and sisters, thank you all so much for sharing your gratitude and appreciation. And actually, before we go listen to Dr. Yong's message, just yesterday, we were able to, the New Jersey Family Church of Clifton was able to host the commitment ceremony for Resford Arthur and Hannah Bush. And to share about that commitment ceremony, I'd like to invite up President Naokimi Ushiroda to share photos and his reflection on it. So Reverend Ushiroda, if you can please share.
Okay, good morning, brothers and sisters. Yes, just briefly, we had the engagement ceremony, as you can see in this photo. Such a beautiful, heavenly couple. It was so exciting to see them walk down that aisle, and each of them are such. How do I say? They've really committed their lives in different ways and served our community. Resfred as the Secretary General for the past 2.5 years, and Hannah was also on GPA. This is her 4th year. This year is on her as a staff, and they've been really walking this course of attending God and True Parents, and to see them come together like this was so amazing. Here's a few more photos. Let's see. Yeah, so they shared their commitments to each other, which was also very beautiful. And we had a cake cutting and also a signing of the commitment as part of the ceremony. There were also performances, and each of them, Hannah sang a song, an original song that she created for Resfred, and then they also both sang together another duet for the whole congregation. I gave just a brief testimony about Resfred, because he chose me to be his friend testimony. I opened with saying that when I shared to my wife that Resfred asked me to give the testimony, she asked, "Doesn't he have any friends?" But I reassured her that I am a friend, and and he chose wisely, so I could really share all the good parts of Resfred's character. And then Dr. Yong also shared a powerful message about really the commitment of the blessing and keeping God first in their marriage. So it was really beautiful. A little bit long for my taste, but it was still, for Resfred and Hannah, I think it was worth it. Here's the final group photo. Actually, Dr. Yong had to go to the airport right after he gave his message. He had to go to the airport to catch his flight to Australia to be with his family. But I was really grateful that he was able to be a part of bringing this couple together. And yeah, one last thing I'd like to share is they are also African Japanese and white American Japanese. So it's really a beautiful interracial couple, and it's so natural because of the foundation of our true parents for these kind of couples to come together. And I felt they are such an amazing couple to also represent our community here in America. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to you, Yasser.
Thank you so much, President Alkimi, for sharing. And yeah, let's give a round of applause for Resfred and Hannah. Wonderful, wonderful, really beautiful. And of course, please throughout the week or throughout the day, just send them messages of congratulations, love them up. And as they will be one of the couples representing North America as they go to the blessing in Korea. And so, yes, Resfred and Hannah, if you're watching, we love you and we're all here for you. And with that, let us now really prepare our hearts and minds to well receive our internal guidance from our regional president, Dr. Chonshik Yong, and we will be receiving a recorded message as he is out back in Australia with his family. So let's play his message.
안녕하세요. Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters, clergy and ambassador for peace. 안녕하십니까? I will be on the plane right now because I am going to South Korea via Australia. For the time being, I will send you a recorded message. Thank you very much for your understanding. Today, I'd like to talk about God's ideal family and the kingdom of peaceful ideal world 2 from True Mother's Anthology, Volume 2. Let's study.
God's ideal family and the kingdom of the peaceful ideal world 2. Respected ambassadors for peace, leaders from all walks of life, distinguished guests from home and abroad, and beloved blessed families. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you for your efforts to realize peace for all humanity, and especially for your support of the Universal Peace Federation. As you may know, after the coronation ceremonies at which my husband was acknowledged as the King of Peace, held both in the United States Senate Office Building and the Korean National Assembly in 2004, we founded the Universal Peace Federation in New York City on September 12, 2005. On the foundation of those victories, on June 13th of this year, we held the entrance ceremony of the Chunjungung and the coronation ceremony of the true parents as the king and queen of cosmic peace. Each of these was a step towards the establishment of the substantial kingdom of heaven on earth, Chanoguk. Ladies and gentlemen, immediately after the inauguration of the Universal Peace Federation, my husband embarked on a world speaking tour that took him to 120 nations. Inheriting the victory of that first tour, I continued with a 180 nation tour, declaring God's message in the capacity of the true parent. Through this tour, which took me around the entire world over the past 6 months, my sons and I worked together seamlessly, fulfilling the providence of mother-son cooperation. As a true parent, accompanied by true children, we declared the word and officiated together over marriage blessings for the sake of world peace. Through this, I restored and offered to heaven the realm of the lineage and the realm of Cain and Abel unity, both of which had been lost by Eve, the mother of the first human family.
Yes, on September 12, 2005, True Parents established the Universal Peace Federation in New York. At the time also, I participated. It was a really incredible event. True Mother, who inherited the victory of Reverend Moon's tour of 120 countries, which began immediately after the founding of the Universal Peace Federation, completed historic providence of mother-child cooperation by traveling around the world and winning the proclamation of the world in 180 countries as a representative of true parents. By being accompanied by the true children in the position of true parents and having them participate in the preparing of the word and supervising events of the blessing, True Mother was able to restore and offer to heaven the realm of the lineage and the realm of Cain and Abel unity, both of which had been lost by Eve, who was the mother in the first family of mankind. My brothers and sisters, here is a very, very important point I'd like to mention. Through this series of the global events, what happened? What is the outcome? True Mother will rise to the throne as the perfected Eve on a global level. It has already been 27 years since True Parents founded the Universal Peace Federation, and soon it will be the 28 years. The truly amazing things that the Universal Peace Federation has accomplished throughout the world have been tremendous. Since True Parents proclaimed the UPF, wow, how much we raised so many political leaders, NGO leaders, academic leaders, religious leaders, for them to become ambassador for peace. It is really, really incredible. Thank you, our heavenly parents, our true parents, and also Mother. So she's really traveling everywhere, every corner of the world. That's why now Mother really, become the position of the perfected Eve, and then also they become really global mother's figure. And then basically from that time, her mission as the God's only begotten daughter mission already from that time began. The living divine principle, human history, the history of the providence of restoration. One, let's study from EDP first.
Human history is the history of the providence of restoration. Human history can be seen as the history of the providence through which God has been trying to save fallen people and work through them to restore the original good world. Let us examine in various ways the idea that human history is the history of the providence of restoration. First, let us examine the history of the development of cultural spheres. Through religion, fallen people mired in ignorance have sought to meet God by ceaselessly striving toward the good. Even though the individuals, peoples, and nations which championed a certain religion may have perished, religion itself has survived. Religion has endured through history. In its history, China has experienced many cycles of the rise and fall of dynasties and numerous transfers of political power. Yet the religions of the Far East, Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, have continued to thrive. In India, the religion of Hinduism, in the Middle East, Islam, and in the history of Western Europe, Christianity, have continued to flourish. Many religions have left their mark on history. Among them, the religions with the greatest influence formed cultural spheres. The major cultural spheres which have existed at various times in world history numbered between 21 and 26. With the flow of history, lesser cultural spheres were absorbed by or merged into the more advanced spheres. Through the evolution of cultural spheres, as they were buffeted by the rise and fall of nations, 4 great cultural spheres have survived to the present day: the East Asian sphere, the Hindu sphere, the Islamic sphere, and the Christian sphere. The current trend has these 4 spheres forming one global cultural sphere based on the Christian ethos. This demonstrates that the essence of human history has been the restoration of one unified world.
Let's study based on this EDP.
The world will be united if Korea, China, Vietnam, and Germany are reunified. Communism is a side effect. It will take lots of time to explain that. But the conclusion is that communism will eventually perish from the earth. Let's think for a second. When something happens, does a conscientious person hit another person first or get hit first? Does a good person strike first or an evil person strike first? An evil person strikes first. As you see, in World War I, evil nations hit first, and those nations were ruined. In World War II, nations that hit first were ruined as well. The same is true of even World War III. Nations that hit first were communist nations. Only 4 nations in the world have been divided into 2 respectively. They are Korea, China, Vietnam, and Germany. If these 4 nations are reunified, the world will be united.
Yes. God's strategy and Satan's strategy are completely different. Satan's strategy is to strike first and then lose. And God's plan is to first get hit and then take away. The reason communism perishes is because it always strikes first. In World War I and World War II, the communist side was destroyed first. It was already a great example. Or a conscientious person never strikes others first. Similarly, in human history, states and nations that deny God always attack first. That country ends up being ruined. It was only a matter of time. Now, the only countries on the earth that are of the same race but have been divided due to communism are China, Taiwan, and North and South Korea in Korea. The true father said this will be the final battle. He prophesied that when these 2 nations become unified, centering on God, world unification will surely come. Now the world of the human history is advancing towards the culture of the realm of the heart of the one big family under God. My brothers and sisters, from this point of view, the issues between Taiwan and China, South Korea and North Korea are global issues, right? As you well know, how tense are Taiwan and China, South Korea and North Korea, right? This is the last task humanity must overcome before world unification can be achieved. Taiwan as an able nation, how deal with the China, mainland China? This is an issue, not simple matter, right? And then at the end, North Korea and South Korea, right? These two areas, if really settle down, Father said, only the heavenly fortune can create one in the world under God. So now is really the world is almost like an end to settle down about this issue. And next, Father's word.
The cultural sphere of Christianity will dominate the world. Can the kingdom of heaven be formed without families? Tribes can be formed only with families. Ethnic groups can be formed only with tribes. And nations can be formed only with ethnic groups, right? If we look at Jesus in this way, he must be a global saint. In conclusion, the cultural sphere of Christianity will dominate the world because God loves Jesus. Even if Christianity is ruined and is driven out, the conclusion will be the same. Teacher Moon knew about it. That's why I call Jesus the saint of all saints. For that reason, the current cultural sphere of Christianity is moving the world.
Yes, the reason why today's Christian culture has had the greatest impact in front of the world is because Jesus' love transcended tribes and nations. It was global. It was the fact that Jesus received God's love and loved his enemies on a global level, beyond the national level. For that reason, the Christian culture sphere has dominated the world. That's why Jesus is called the saint or saint of the saints. Now, on that foundation, Christian cultural realm of the Jesus, the cultural realm must change, centering on true parents who inherited everything. In the future ideal world, God-centered heart and filial heart will dominate the entire world, the culture of the Hyojong, right? In conclusion, it is that individuals and families and churches and nations who have been loved by God receive God's protection in any hardship. Therefore, we must be the first to love God in any situation. If we love God, okay, God cannot help but protect us. For the Unification Church in America to be protected, it must be loved by God. To do so, the Unification Church, more than any religious organization, must love not only God, America, and the people of America, but also all mankind and the world. If America loves the world and humanity, God cannot help but protect America. No matter what happens, the Unification Church in United States must help the missions in other countries and continue to send out missionaries to the world, centering on second generation. That is a path through which Unification Church in America is loved and protected by heaven. That's why America, as long as live for the sake of the world, for the sake of the all mankind, our America never perish. We need to know how we can get love from God. We need to really love all mankind. We need to love the world substantially. This is the mission as the eldest nation. Today's youth ministry, when are we artistically grafted? Yeah, this is also quite very, very internal content. Recently, I share very deep content, right? So please listen carefully. How can we really inherit heart, and when are we artistically crafted? So let's start.
Words of the Pyongyang Shingyang are the same as true father's will. The words spoken by true parents in the Pyongyang Shingyang are like a will. Every time he spoke, he repeatedly told us and emphasized for us to keep the words in mind. As if making a will, he earnestly asked us to keep the words in mind. Therefore, as you keep reading the Pyongyang Shingyang, you must read and reread the words that true parents told you to keep in mind until they have deeply moved your heart and made your own. So when you read the word, you must read it with your heart. The fact that you were moved by the words of true parents is something that you have to keep in mind deeply in your heart. What does it mean to keep the words in mind? It is to stamp the inspired words on your heart. That's why it's called keeping in mind. It is to deeply engrave something in your heart so that you can't forget it. The more you read the Pyongyang Shingyang of true parents, the more the words that have just passed over your head until now become more influential to you. So you don't know until you read it. There are many things you don't know, even if you keep reading the Pyongyang Shingyang. So you just read it once or twice more, then it will go all the way.
Yes. Since the words that true parents taught us to keep in mind, Father always say, keep in mind, keep in mind, keep in mind. True parents taught us to keep in mind are the same as true parents' will, like his last will. We must read and reread them until they touch our hearts and make them our own. So when you read the word, you must read it with your heart. When you do not understand or do not read these important words with your heart, you must meditate on and pray for each sentence. We must pray together with the meditation to find out what this word really means. My brothers and sisters, meditation is prayer. So if you separately accept the words that have moved you so far, write them down and in a notebook and meditate repeatedly. You can understand the deeper meaning of the words the more you meditate. Those who repeat the inspired word over and over and again will come to know the taste of the words and sometimes receive unimaginable stimulation and joy. The fact that I was moved by the word of true parents means I must keep in my mind deeply. What does it mean to keep in mind? It is stem. It is to stem the inspired word onto my heart. That's why Father always mentioned, must keep in mind, must be keep in mind. That means really it is to stem the inspired word onto my heart. Next.
You must know the world of the heart behind the word. As we read the Pyongyang Shingyang, we all know the words, but do we understand the content behind the words? Knowing in words is knowledge. However, the problem is that we do not know the world of the heart behind the word. Do you know the world of God's heart behind Cain's murder of Abel? If you say that you have read the word, but do not understand it well, what does this mean? In a word, it is like not knowing the sorrow and harm of true parents. True Father said that if you read the word, you should know the bitterness of God and true parents. Then, how can we know the Han, bitter sorrow of God and true parents? Fallen humans do not know how much effort their parents put into raising them and the misery they went through. They do not know that their mother suffered while wandering between death and near death to give birth to them. They don't know how many pains, sorrows, and hardships their parents went through in order to raise them alone. And some people don't even want to know the past of their parents who suffered. It is because our physical body inherited the fallen nature. But if your mind is clear, you will know.
Yes. When you read the word of true parents, we must know the world of heart behind the words. The reason people have been divided into numerous denominations based on the content of the Bible so far is because they do not know the heart of God and Jesus behind the word. When you enter the world of heart, everyone becomes one. Even if we look at Adam's family, we do not know the word of God's heart behind the fall of Adam and Eve and Cain's murder of Abel. If we read true parents' word but still cannot understand them, it means that we are far from true parents' realm of heart. Going further, in a word, it means not knowing the sorrow and harm of true parents. So the Father said that if you read the word, you should know the bitterness of God and true parents. Then how can we know the harm, which is the bitter sorrow of God and true parents? To know the bitterness of God and true parents, we must deeply understand the principle of restoration. Fallen human beings do not know how much effort their parents put into raise them and the misery they went through. Fallen human beings do not know that their mother suffered while wandering between death and near death to give birth to them. They do not know how many pains and sorrows and hardships their parents went through, to raise them alone. How could a human being with such a fallen lineage know God's sorrowful heart and harm? Next.
You must suffer to know the circumstances of those who suffered. If my own mind is clear, I feel the other person's sad situation as if it were my own. Think of it as my job and feel the pain together with that person. The world of our heart is truly mysterious. In a way, even though it's all past events, but as soon as you see the person's face, you can read the person's past. So, knowing the circumstances of that person's pain, you shed tears without even realizing it. Those who live with this kind of heart feel all the circumstances and feelings of the other person. We say that we know what kind of people true parents are, but we do not know what true parents are bitter about. In fact, True Father did not tell us all the details of all the trials and sufferings he went through. He only said, "You can know me only when you have gone through many hardships and grievous incidents up to this day. You have to go through hardships to know the feelings of those who have suffered. Only when you are hungry do you know the sorrow of your parents who endured hunger and suffered hardships to raise you."
Yes. Do you know why True Father continues to emphasize the world of heart? This is because when you enter the world of heart, you can read the other person's circumstances, heart, and mind. If my mind is clear, I feel the other person's sorrow as if it were my own. Think of it as if it were my own and feel their pain as if it were my own. You can read that person's past as soon as you see that person's face. That's why the world of our heart is truly mysterious. So knowing the circumstances of that person's pain, you shed tears without even realizing it. Those who live with this kind of the heart feel all the circumstances and feelings of the other person. That's why true parents said that the fallen man, fallen human being must go through many hardships and sufferings. The world of heart is a world that cannot be felt unless you experience it. Therefore, true Father said that we can come to know the world of God's heart when we understand and digest all the hardships, pains, and hardships that we are experiencing as if they were from heaven. That's why true Father said, you can know me only when you go through many hardships and grievous incidents up to this day. You have to go through hardships to know the feelings of those who have suffered. One comes to know the sadness of the parents who endured hunger and suffered hardships to raise them only when they themselves are hungry. Next content.
When are we artistically grafted? It is impossible to describe in words how much Korean people suffered while they were invaded and exploited by Japan for 40 years. At that time, Korean people were always hungry and had to go through many hardships. Thinking about that, how much do young Koreans these days know about the pain of their ancestors? In fact, during the Japanese colonial period, Koreans were very sad because they had nothing to eat and they suffered a lot of pain and neglect from the Japanese. Everyone, do you know what the word graft means? It is when the word enters my heart, empathizes with me, and when tears come out, that is grafting into my heart. If a child cries after knowing about the mother's hardships, they are grafted to the mother's heart. Mothers struggle and cry to raise their children, but children do not know how their parents feel and do not cry unless they cry. When the mother is sad, the children also feel sad and cry together, and they bond with the mother artistically.
Yes. Next, continue.
You cannot graft your heart without tears. So if you live with your heart, you will be able to perceive the situation and heart of the other person. If the mother is sad, the children immediately notice and worry. When a mother and children are emotionally connected, the children immediately know the mother's situation. How do they know? They know it by heart. Therefore, heart cannot be grafted without tears. That's why True Father told us to know God's sorrow whenever we face persecution or difficulties. If you do not know the sorrow of your parents, the relationship between parent and child will not develop artistically. Human beings also need to become affectionate through tears in order to become closer in spirit. When couples sympathize with each other emotionally and cry together, they become closer to each other. If a husband and wife have the same lifestyle, they are bound to be sad together and have fun together. So please remember that fallen human beings will not be able to join without tears in their quest for God.
Wow, very, very deep content. We must understand that what it means to graft into the heart. When will the word come in and be grafted into me? In other words, when the word enters my heart, and if that word touches you and brings tears to your eyes, that is what engrafts itself into your heart. For example, if a child cries after learning about the mother's hardships, wow, my mother really sacrificed so much. My mother did everything for me, but I did not know. The later on this child realized mother's hardships and pain. It is like a connecting with mother son in this way. If a human being know God's hardships and sorrow through the process of suffering, indescribable sacrifice and suffering, then at that moment they are connected with God artistically. This is a true engrafting of heart. So if we live with the heart, we can perceive the situation and the heart of the other person. If the mother is sad, the children immediately notice and worry. Then how do you know the other person? You know it with your heart. Therefore, heart cannot be engrafted without tears. Once again, heart cannot be engrafted with tears. That's why true Father told us to know God's sorrow whenever we face persecution or difficulties. If you do not know the sorrow of your parents, the relationship between parent and child will not develop artistically. Human beings also need to become affectionate through the tears, to become closer in spirit. In the end, we must think that hardships and pain and difficulties and sometimes persecution and injustice are training to engraft ourselves with God's heart. So I hope you will remember that fallen human beings will not be able to join without tears in their quest for God. So whenever we're facing any kind of difficulties and persecution and pain and hardships, we really need to think, God give us this kind of opportunity to engraft, ourselves with God's heart. That's why we need to appreciate that. Very, very, really incredible content. Thank you so much. Today I talk about you cannot graft your heart without tears. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yong, for sharing your incredible words with us this morning and really guiding us through True Parents' words. And brothers and sisters, now to receive our living testimony, I'd like to invite up Mr. Toshiaki Mizuguchi and Miss Maki Uesugi, who both are second year on Generation Peace Academy serving under the Heavenly USA team. And so I think we'd like to start with Toshiaki. So if you can please share.
Good morning. Hello. Okay. Yes. Hello, Morning Heart family. Maki and I are here together, but yes. Good morning. Today, our living testimony is going to be talking about our experience in Newcastle, Delaware, serving with Pastor Parker and serving his community. And so, yeah, my name is Toshiaki Mizuguchi. I'm a second year on this Heavenly USA program.
Yes, and I'm Akimi Yasugi, and likewise second year.
And yeah, recently we came back from Newcastle, Delaware to serve alongside Pastor Parker and yeah. So here, let me share mine. Oh, it says host disabled participant screen share.
Try again. It's working.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Yes. So yes, this is our Heavenly USA group with Pastor Parker. That's me and Maki. And yeah, we every day Pastor Parker gives food out. Pastor Parker is mainly located at a community center and in Newcastle, Delaware, and he every single day without fail gives food out to the homeless or to people who need it. And so this is a picture of me loading someone's van with food, and as well as serving food, we also sang at the community center. It's also a middle and high school as well as a community center. So we also sang to the seniors and also to the kindergarteners. There were more kindergarteners than this, but these were the kindergartners who wanted to sing with us. And so, yeah, going into my testimony, serving alongside Pastor Parker and yeah, I feel like what I learned was basic point of just to start serving now, to start giving now, instead of, because I had this idea like, oh, when I in the future, when I have more things and more, I guess, money and things to give, I'll start giving then. But but what I learned from Pastor Parker is that I need to start building this giving mindset now instead of thinking like that. And actually, relative to those who don't have so much, like the homeless who don't have a place to sleep or don't have food every single day, relative to them, us who do eat every day, eat 3 meals every single day and have clothes and have shower and can like shower whenever they want, we actually have so much more that we can give to the people who don't have these things. And so I also hear how Pastor Parker would like give his, I don't know if he actually does, but someone testifies that he's that kind of person. Like he would give his shirt away to like just walking down the street, he sees a homeless person who needs like more clothing. He'd just give his shirt away to that person. Or when I myself always had this dream, or I say goal because I really want to do it, this goal of learning to cut hair so that I can bring homeless people to my house, cut their hair, give them a place to sleep and to shower, because I know how nice it is to like how nice it feels to like shower when you're hecka dirty. And so I can give them, I know how much joy I can give to the people, or to the homeless people who don't have that every single day. And so, yeah, and going back to Pastor Parker didn't start off with such a huge foundation. He didn't start off with having this community center or having so many people to help him, but he started off by, as he testifies, just picking up trash. And he says that God told him to just start picking up trash. So he started to pick up trash, and his foundation started to, with his desire to serve his community, his foundation started to grow. And so he can create a bigger impact to the point where he's serving, giving food to the homeless every single day to like 10, I don't know, a lot of people. And so in conclusion for myself, there's always some way I can give. Maybe even though I don't have a lot of money, there's always something I can give, because yeah, and if I don't build this habit of giving now, then I'll never be that person in the future. And so yeah, I'm really grateful for Pastor Parker, and he's really a model in how to give and serve his community. And I think as second gen, or as just learning from him, how can I bring this to my own community and serve the people in my community and the homeless in my community to better their lives as well. So that's my testimony, but I wanted to hand it off to Maki.
Thank you, Toshiaki. Yes, I wanted to share about my experience. Yeah, so this experience for me, it was like honestly like so humbling. And yeah, so as we were like given this like opportunity to serve like this community, and as we saw like all these like projects that Uncle James started with King's Table. Yeah, so I was just like so moved, and like it gave me like so much hope. And like I was able to see all of these like possibilities for myself personally, but also for Husa. And yes, God gave me such an amazing like uncle, someone who I like truly admire, and someone who like truly just like motivates me to become a better person. And yes, I never met such a sincere, like honest and caring person as him. Yeah, and at some point, I guess like during this service project, I wondered how is it that like he's always like so like bright, and like just like what is the source of his joy? Right? It's just like because like I thought this because I was the one that was like constantly like changing. Like I was constantly changing. And yeah, and then like at some point I just like realized, oh, it's because like he continuously gives, and like he doesn't hold back when he's like giving. And yeah, what really moved me was just like his obedience to God and his like total giving, and which is like something that like allowed me to see and feel God through him. And yeah, that's when it truly hit me that that true love is total giving, and that is my purpose of living. Yeah, I guess so just like in conclusion, or what I realized was that like when I am giving, I feel like the most alive, and when I am not, I feel like really dead inside. Yes. So yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much to Toshiaki and Maki for sharing your experiences, and especially, yeah, really inheriting and being inspired by the elders and Pastor Parker and how he lives and receiving that, but also recognizing that the attitude that he shows is also the attitude that God wants all of us to be able to have. And so thank you so much for sharing such an important point, and we really appreciate not just you two, but also all the Heavenly USA team members' work and effort for moving the providence. We really appreciate you. Thank you. And with that, brothers and sisters, we like to take this time to go into our breakout now so that we can share any insights and takeaways from Dr. Yong's morning guidance, as well as Toshiaki and Maki's testimony. So if you are prompted to join a breakout, please click join. And if you're unable to at this time, please take this time to write down your reflections. So let's go into our breakouts. All right, welcome back, brothers and sisters. I hope you had a wonderful time sharing your insights and takeaways with one another. And to share with the whole community first, I'd like to invite up the Baines' couple, Mr. Tyndall and Mrs. Irmgard Baines. So if you can please unmute and share.
Go first. Well, this morning, one of the things that really stuck out to me is the two nations that are still divided, which is nation of China and Taiwan and North and South Korea. And I think about it, it's so incredible when you think about the huge nation of China and the very small nation of Taiwan that's persevering and holding out. It's kind of like using a hammer to kill an ant. But anyway, that's just my craziness. But I just really feel that. And I was thinking also, I heard that South Korea is contemplating arming themselves with nuclear weapons so that they could have power against North Korea. And I say, wow, all of these things come out just before heaven moves. Mm-hmm. So that was my takeaway today.
Yes, and my takeaway was at the very end when Dr. Yong kind of summarized his teaching. What struck me was he used, when you really want to engraft in someone's heart or be engrafted by someone's heart, it cannot go without tears. So I was thinking about my own mother and also about true mother. And I do understand the hardship of my mother, what she went through her life. I was thinking of my brother who criticizes my mom a lot because of mistakes he thinks she did. And I was thinking, gee, should I ask my brother one time, do you know that our mother carried you 9 months, got through a lot of pain to give birth to you, and you have a pretty happy life. That's one thing I was thinking. And then, of course, I was thinking about our true parents, especially our true mother, because recently we're getting closer to her because she's the one who's in the front line now versus father before, right? And she shows the heart when she understands God's heart. That's what she shows. And always tears come in her eyes in public speeches when she talks about God's heart and what God went through and the efforts they did to convey that to everybody. But I think she buries a lot of hardship in her. She never shows it, especially when I think as a mom, I have only one son. She has so many children, sons and daughters. And we know that there's not 100% unity in her family. And she even had to, go with legal ways against them. That must be so painful. I know she didn't want to do it, but right is right and wrong is wrong, right? So that must be really, really hard for a true mother. So that's what I was thinking, but I didn't come to the point of tears yet, like really deep tears. With my mother, I had it once in Chongpyeong. So I appreciate that Dr. Yong always points these deep things out. We can seek to achieve and to think about and work on.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much to the Baines couple for really sharing such deep insights and heartfelt takeaways. And yes, we are all working towards to understand deeper our beloved true parents' and our heavenly parents' heart in our own unique ways. So thank you so much for sharing. And to share next, I'd like to invite up Reverend Luke Higuchi. So Reverend Higuchi, if you can please unmute and share.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Yong, and good morning, everybody. And so today's takeaway is Dr. Yong emphasizing the God sorrow of God's heart, and he engrafted our heart through understanding the sorrow. So this time, all the time, he emphasizing God's heart is sorrow. So it's very challenging for me because I'm very happy guy. I'm always happy energy, right? So that's very challenging when all the time hear about the God's sort of heart. I remember when he came first time in Belvedere, starting to give morning devotions, and he always emphasizing God's sorrow. And I was struggling that time. And I got the chance to visit the East Belvedere in the early time, and 2.5 years ago. And then I remember I told Dr. Yong, I'm very hard what you're saying, sort of God. I'm very happy guy. I cannot understand God's heart. You know, I told him, I remember. And then that time I wasn't become pastor yet. And then after a few months later, God's challenging me to become a pastor of Atlanta and the district pastor of the Southeast. And I realized, God challenging me to understanding God's sort of heart through the brothers and sisters. I was pastoring to listening. All brothers, sisters are struggling. I studying, understanding God's heart. Wow, this is all brothers and sisters struggling so much, and then God's watching, and then try to comfort them through me. And then I was starting to understanding little by little. And then this is a training. Wow, God's training. And then now become Kodan leader is more challenging. God's giving me, more. You have to understand more. And then I starting listening Japanese brothers, sisters are suffering and then difficulties. Wow. I just started, but this is going to be God gave me the opportunity to understanding how God is sorrow. So this just started my journey, and then I tried to listening and then hearing how Japanese brothers and sisters have difficult situation in this nation to restore. And then my mission is to give them hope, give them joy, give them joyful and comfort them, and then bring them next level to understanding God's sorrow. And then what? Making Hyojong, making God's happy through the Japanese brothers and sisters in America. And they all members to become happy. So that's my new mission. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Reverend Higuchi, for that beautiful sharing. And yes, definitely, you are the right person because of your character, to bring so much joy, not just to the Japanese brothers and sisters, but to all that you serve, and most especially to our Heavenly Parent, with your character of joy. So thank you so much. And with that, brothers and sisters, thank you all for really taking this time to share your insights and takeaways. And I'd just like to remind everyone that please don't keep it to yourself or just hear Morning Heart Devotion, because the whole world is ready and in need of hearing Dr. Yong's guidances based on True Parents' words. So whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or this Zoom link, please continue to share so that more and more brothers and sisters will be able to be inspired every morning by Dr. Yong. And also we have transcripts and links to images available on edu.familyfed.org, courtesy of Dr. Kylie. So thank you so much, Dr. Kylie, for continuously making these available and offering it to all of us. Also, if you could turn your attention towards the chat, then we like to post up the link for the donation page so that we'll all be able to give joyfully from our heart to continue supporting this Morning Heart Devotion ministry, as well as other ways to support can be offering the opening prayer or the musical offering. And so with that, you can always contact Talzor at TZORER@unification.org. And so now, yes, someone has posted in the chat that it is Mark Monday. You got it right. Today is Mark Monday. So we like to welcome up Mr. Mark Hanlon for our musical offering. So if you can please unmute and share.
Good morning, everybody. I have to tell you that I don't know about you guys, but when Dr. Yong is not here, the air goes out of my heart somehow. I don't know, but just miss the interaction with Dr. Yong and also how he interacts with everybody else. It makes the world seem like it actually can be harmony. He talks about harmony lately, and so I got this song. It's called "Harmony Can Be a Way of Life," because he's been talking about that a lot, in the family and in myself, and the 21 to 26 cultural spheres that are merging together every day. So it's the the theme of harmony lately. So, but when I first heard this song, I really hated this thing because I'm from Massachusetts, and you can't say a song about harmony. It's like, come on, it's not real. So it took me a while to get used to this, but now it's kind of my favorite song. So here it is. Harmony can be a way of life. It can be a way of living. Harmony can be a way of life. We must start out by giving. The Lord has come out of the east, proclaiming a brand new day. His love so refined, His concern divine. He speaks about our Father's ways. Oh, harmony can be a way of life. It can be a way of living. Harmony can be a way of life. We must start out by giving. His bride is so fair, her beauty is rare, flowing like a soft, gentle breeze. Taking her hand, He'll build a new land, allowing mankind to be free. Oh, it can be a way of living. Harmony can be a way of life. We must start out by giving. His truth is profound, His children gather round, uniting in the warmth of His heart. Learning to give and loving to live, so refreshing is a brand new start. Oh, harmony can be a way of life. It can be a way of living. Harmony can be a way of life. We must start out by giving. Brothers and sisters of all different races will wipe away our Father's tears. Heaven is open, the path has been green. Peace for rain for 10,000 years. Oh, harmony can be a way of life. It can be a way of living. Harmony can be a way of life. We must start out by giving. Oh, harmony can be a way of life. It can be a way of living. Harmony can be a way of life. We must start out by giving. We must start out by giving. We must start out by giving.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hammond, for such a beautiful offering. And yeah, fits so well with our theme today of just really being giving first. And I really appreciate that you're able to really share and express your longing heart for Dr. Yong. I'm sure you're speaking on behalf
We
of
all got
him.
it. We all got it. Yasutaka.
Yeah, we really miss him too. All right. And so with that, yes, we'd like to close out this incredible morning heart devotion experience in prayer. And to offer the prayer, I'd like to invite up Mrs. Charlotte Kiluba. So Mrs. Kiluba, if you can please unmute and offer the closing prayer.
Thank you, Yasu. Please, brothers and sisters, join me in prayer. Heavenly beloved true parents, Heavenly parents, thank you very much for the love you pour on us every day. We are so grateful for this moment, which you open your heart to tell us what you're going through. We are so grateful that we can have Dr. Yong, who is really giving himself to be used, to be your body, your mouth, to share the situation you're going through for many, many years. Yes, we can understand your heart if we really not going through any situation, to understand the suffering, to understand the hardship you're going through, Father, and the path of true parents. We are so sorry. If we don't go through anything, we can understand your heart. And today we can understand true mother's heart through everything she's going through. And this time, Father is a mother of the world, mother of the universe. We are so grateful, Father, that we can really, truly connect our heart to you. We know even we're going through a lot, but we can compare our suffering to yours. But at least we can feel the suffering of your heart for many years. We are so sorry. And at this time, we're coming to you to comfort you, to heal your heart through our responsibility. You cry every day. You are crying and asking us to liberate you, to liberate your heart. We are so sorry, Father, because many things we're going through. It's just a little experience so we can really understand your parental heart. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And we're so grateful for our children who really experiences the life living for the sake of others. So beautiful with the testimony from our second generation. And Father, we are so thankful for the song, which shows us how we can live in harmony, not only between us, but harmony with you. Thank you very much, Father. And we offer this moment, especially we pray for Dr. Yong, who's traveling. We really ask you to protect him. That we'll be grateful to see him reaching his destination and coming back again to us, Father. We really thank you. at this time we are offering this day, we would know that all our activities, everything we'll be doing during the day, we want that will be vertical and under your protection. Thank you for everything. We offer this moment and this prayer in behalf of our brothers and sisters. And in my name, Charles Cuba and Prosper Cuba, Grace Center family, we pray. Achu.
Achu. Thank you so much, Mrs. Kaluba, for your heartfelt prayer and really sharing your heart. Thank you so much. And with that, brothers and sisters, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining and making this morning heart devotion experience wonderful. And Dr. Yong, even though you're not in the United States, we really appreciate and love you for really preparing and offering your heart in Jeonsung in all these messages that you're providing for us every single day. And I just want to mention that today is my final day for my rotation of emceeing. So I really appreciate everyone's support and love. But tomorrow we will be going back to Pastor Diane, and she'll be continuing to MC for us. And with that, brothers and sisters, we wish you a happy, healthy, and victorious day today. We'll see each other tomorrow. God bless you.